Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and as you know, one of the things the Arts Council does is promote the arts all through our community, and that includes things that are happening with the university as well. I have with me Joel Williams, and Joel is a professor in the theater department at Appalachian State University, and he was just now sort of cluing me in on the ins and the outs of the story of Tartuffe, because we're going to get a chance to see this production coming up very shortly.
That's correct.
Coming up November the 5th.
We open November the 5th.
And it's running how many times?
10 performances.
Wow.
We're doing our studio theater, and in order to accommodate the students' audiences and community audiences that we have, that we're running it a little longer because we don't have the capacity that we have in the Ballborg Theater.
So they have 10 opportunities.
That's correct.
And don't procrastinate, because it's not that big of a theater, so if you wait till the very last minute, you may not get in. Now isn't this the theater they call the Red Door Theater?
Well, it has a red door.
Yeah.
That's sort of the unofficial name
Yes.
of the theater, and that's true. It's in I.G. Greer, and it's it's an old converted band room, actually.
Really?
It's a very intimate space. The audience sits in a horseshoe around the stage, so they're very close to the performers. It's located, if anybody's ever been on campus, the student films, the series that they do, is shown in I.G. Greer in an auditorium. We're underneath that. We're in the it's ground level because, of course, nothing on the campus is, but it kind of feels like the basement.
And you're doing this in the evenings and on weekends, so
That's
parking is
correct.
accessible because
We hope
of
so,
that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
If worse came to worse, you go to the
River Street parking deck.
parking deck. But
Cross the Skyway, past just as you come right across to the central dining hall, and then just take a right to I.G. Greer. It's not a difficult walk to.
But there's also street parking.
There's street parking along University Drive and Academy Street, which is a one-way that weaves its way around by the administration building by I.G. Greer. So there's usually, on the weekends, there's usually parking along there.
And the evening performances start at what time? 7?
7:30.
7:30.
Right.
So that does give plenty of time between the university day-to-day stuff.
Right, sort of shutting down. Most of the faculty who've parked in that area are moving away.
Right. They've gone to get dinner. And
That's right. That's right.
So then you can scoot in and get your parking space.
But that University Drive, when you come in, you go around by the tennis courts, there are a lot of parking spaces along there. So.
Now, Tartuffe is you said, a play that was written by Molière,
That's
which
correct.
was a long time ago.
About 345 years ago.
Yeah. And so are we going to get to see a whole lot of these and thous and difficult to understand English?
No, it was actually the version that we're doing, of course, originally written in French, has been translated to English by Richard Wilbur, who is a award-winning poet.
Okay.
And Molière tended to write in verse, and Richard Wilbur has done a great job of taking the original French and turning it into an English translation, and has done a great job of keeping what we call rhymed couplets. The Alexandrian rhymed couplets are very strong, masculine rhymes, and one of the challenges for the students is not to fall into that Jack and Jill cadence when they're doing the lines. So we didn't change the script at all. When you get the script, it's written like a poem. And I did, in order to help the students not just see that and fall into that, I retyped it just to take it out of the poetic and fixed it so that when they were looking at the script, they weren't seeing, oh my God, this is a poem and it rhymes. But we've worked very hard. They've worked very hard to sort of overcome that, falling into a rhythm. And you can still hear it if they get their lines right. You can still hear the scanning and the rhyming.
But then you set this in a whole different era. Completely.
That's correct, because partly because we're doing this in our studio theater, because we had just a really successful big production, costumes and lots of scenery and projections of Holmes, The Art of Deduction.
Right.
And so we have 2 dance concerts that are coming up very quickly. So the Ballborg Theater is kind of booked out. So we're doing it in our studio theater, and as a result, we're also saving a little money. We do a big show and then a smaller show. And so we didn't want to do period costumes. It would have been very expensive to do that, and the time involved in making those period costumes. So the costumes are primarily pulled or there's a couple of things being built or purchased. So wanted to set it in a more modern period. Ended up setting it in the 1930s in Louisiana.
Definitely what Moliere would never thought of.
Well, probably not. Although New Orleans is named after the term, the city of New Orleans is named after the regent, wasn't a king, but the person who followed after Louis XIV died. The regent who took over was the person that they named New Orleans after. So it's very appropriate. The primary choice for Louisiana was I sort of wanted to do it in a dialect that the audience would identify with, and Southern seemed to work very well with the language and the rhythm of the play. And so thinking of a Southern dialect with madames and messieurs, I automatically thought of New Orleans. And it turns out there's a political figure from the 1930s in New Orleans, Governor Huey Long, whose political nickname was Kingfisher. And so the play makes a couple of references to the king near the end of the play. And so we just said, well, that's going to be the Kingfisher, Huey Long. A couple of the women in the play have fans. And to sort of help reinforce that, they have sort of a Huey Long campaign poster on the fan as if they picked them up at a local campaign rally. Huey Long's a whole nother interesting character that we could go on for hours about as I've researched into it a little bit. But other than just sort of giving me an excuse to put it in Louisiana. The play deals with a con man who is a religious hypocrite. Matter of fact, if you look up the play title, Tartuffe, in the dictionary, you'll see that it's a synonym for the word hypocrite. Moliere's, because the play has been around for 300 plus years, it's just one of those things that everybody recognizes as
so
hypocritical
the reason
behavior.
That word says that is because of
the character in the play, right. One of those things where literature gave us a word in our language.
Absolutely.
But at one point in the translation, Wilbur says to one of the characters, "You deserve to be Tartuffified." The head of the family has been totally taken in by this con man, has brought him to live under his household, and his daughter and son and wife and brother-in-law, his daughter's supposed fiance that he's upset about. Now the father's now upset about. All these people just have seen right through Tartuffe, and Orgon hasn't. So the real crux of the play is, will they be able to get Orgon to lift the veil from his eyes and see Tartuffe for who he really is? And of course, being a Moliere comedy, it has a uplifting ending. Let's just leave it at that.
And a few twists along the way.
Oh yeah, lots of twists along the way. It's very much a satire, and I've said in some of the pre-publicity materials that it's not unlike what college students are familiar with the Colbert Report or the Daily Show. It's really sort of poking fun at people whose extreme behaviors. This week we say this, and next week we go, oh wait, now I say this. Sort of swinging between two extremes and not really having a moderate approach is really what ultimately the play is about.
Okay.
When the father finally sort of has the veil lifted from his eyes, he goes, "Oh, for now on, I'll hate all religious people." And one of the other characters goes, "No, that's not the proper reaction." So the play, the theme of the play, primary theme of the play, is moderation.
Well, now this is how large a cast?
There are 12 members of the cast.
That's a pretty good sized cast.
It is a good sized cast, and because we're doing 10 performances, we had a couple of young people with less experience than some of the seniors who are in the show, and they're playing a couple of smaller roles, and we'll have 2 understudy performances for them to understudy some of the larger roles.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been an exciting experience for them, and it's always trepidatious because they don't get as much. They observe and make notes, but they don't get as much rehearsal time as the real people. So that's a good learning experience as well.
That's great. Now, is it a complex set?
No, it's very simple because we're in 3/4 thrust. There's not a lot you can do in terms of tall furniture or scenic pieces because it would be in the way of people seeing things. So it's really it's Orgon's veranda, a lot of wicker places to sit and bring people out on stage on, but nothing complex at all.
So it more or less takes place all in that same location.
Yes, that's very typical of plays of that period.
Okay. So do you no dragging furniture in?
No. The show will probably run just under 2 hours.
Okay.
And there'll be a 10-minute intermission, of course, but It should be very lively. Hopefully, if all things come to fruition as they should, very fun. When I was involved as an undergraduate a lot of years ago, I was involved in a production where the audience was sitting on some risers, and one young man got so tickled at one point he leaned back on his chair and it fell off the riser. Fortunately, there was a curtain behind him, a very heavy curtain behind him, and he just kind of fell through the curtain material like you see in it. But he was just laughing so hard that he just rocked his chair right off the riser. So if we can manage that level, and there were a couple of moments last night in one of our first run-through rehearsals where it was just a couple of people who were coming to see how the show was coming together had very laughable moments. So by the time we get it polished up this week and open next week, we should have a really fun show on our hands.
That sounds wonderful. Now, to get tickets.
Well, the easiest thing is to go online, www.theater.appstate.edu, and there's a link to the performances and box office information. There's a link right over on the left where you can order tickets online.
Right.
You can also, that'll give you a phone number, which is 828-262-3063. Will bring you directly to the box office.
Okay.
Tickets for students are $9, for adults is $16.
And can they go to the Valborg box office and pick them up as well?
They can go to the Valborg box office or the Schaefer Center box office. Tickets are on sale at either of those locations. We don't have a real good box office facility at Greer, and because it is a small house, I strongly recommend getting tickets in advance because will call will be kind of a mess.
Now, how big is a small house? How big?
It's right at 100 seats. I think
that's not that many.
No, it's really not. The Valborg seats about 3 times that. So we're expecting some sellout crowds.
That's
keeping
wonderful.
our fingers crossed.
That's wonderful.
We've got Keith Martin's arts management class is working on it. His publicity team who's working on it gets extra credit. They get extra credit if they get a full house every night. So they're really pushing for that extra credit. Yeah.
Good for them. Good motivation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm thankful that you came and told us all about this. I think it'll be a really
I think
cool
people will really enjoy it
it
if they'll just come and have a good laugh. There's a serious underlying message, but it's you can walk away from the theater not worrying too much about that, just having had a good time.
And we all need a break.
Yeah,
and
these
that would
days.
be a great break.
These days of polarized behavior, we could use some moderate.
Well, it's ironic that you're beginning the day after the election.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see how all that turns out. We may all need a good laugh.
Exactly.
No matter which end you're on, you may end up going, I could really use a good laugh.
And so this is your recipe for a good laugh.
That's right. That's right.
So check their website, which is appstate.theater.edu.
Theater.appstate.edu.
Theater.appstate.
Theater comes first.
Of course, I should have known. And it's RE too.
Well, it works either way. You can do
really?
ER or RE.
Okay.
We want to make sure people find us.
Okay, because I'm always pretty picky about always using the RE.
And when the dance people come, they'll tell you it's dance.appstate.edu. It takes the same place. So you can do theater, ER, theater, RE, or dance, and you'll get to
all
our
the shortcuts
homepage.
take you to the same. Yeah.
That's correct.
That's great. And then you have an opportunity to enjoy Tartuffe, and there's a lot of really other cool things that the university is doing through the theater department that we've been talking about some already this fall. We'll continue to talk about them. And I encourage you to make it a regular thing to go and check out these performances. They're really neat. And these students, as I sometimes say, are only a year or two from being professionals. And so you're not talking about, third graders or something. You're talking about people who have some experience and some skill and are honing those skills.
We work them pretty hard.
Yeah.
As of last week, we had, in student hours, over 584 hours in rehearsal. I mean, that's counting each individual's work hours.
Right. But
they've invested a lot of time and a lot of effort into
it.
this. That's absolutely right.
I think that theater and music are two of the most demanding majors
for
that very reason.
In terms of what we call co-curricular time outside of the classroom, absolutely.
I mean, all majors have to do outside work.
Right.
But I think the hours demanded sometimes can be more extreme.
That rehearsal takes a lot of time.
Exactly. And you got to be there at the right time, right place,
That's
all
right.
that good stuff. So it's really cool what we're doing in this community with the student population in terms of the arts as well. Speaking of doing things in the arts, I want to point out something to you. I am trying a trial run of something on our website and our Facebook page that I hope you'll go check out. We're doing a little mini version, and if it works, we're going to do a big version of what we're calling an online store, and it's an opportunity to go and purchase tickets to events, purchase memberships, you can purchase gift certificates, and you can also sign up for workshops and classes. And you just select the thing that you want and you go straight through PayPal, and you can actually sign up from Facebook of all the places. So there's plenty of opportunities to get involved. Go check it out. I'd like your feedback.
What's
I'd like to know
what's
what
the
you think.
website on that?
Our website is watauga-arts.org.
Okay.
And our Facebook page is Watauga County Arts Council.
Okay.
And of course you've liked it, right, Joel?
I haven't yet, but I will as soon as
All
I
right,
get back
I'm
to my
gonna
computer.
go check in about an hour. I'm going to see if Joel has liked our page. And I want to know what you think about the online store.
I'll look at it.
Because it's a new idea. It's a way of helping people. You know, it's like they heard us talk about this theater production
Right.
just now. And yet they're still going to have to remember to go and make a phone
That's
call
right.
or go get a ticket or arrange it, you know. And so it's cutting
We're trying
out
to
some
make
of that.
We're trying to make it as
Yeah,
easy as possible.
Exactly. And it's cutting out some of that delay time and opportunity to get distracted or forget to do something you really wanted to do.
Right.
And so we're trying this as an option, and I just would love to see what people think about the idea, because I think it might make things easier for everybody. So
Fantastic.
check our website, watauga-arts.org. You'll find links to what Joel's talking about. You'll find our online store. You'll find a whole lot more about the arts all through Watauga County.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.